I hope you're having a fabulous, fabulous day. So what if I told you that you could create $1 billion business on your own just using artificial intelligence? Now, you'd probably say I was crazy, but that's why I want you to listen to this and watch this video, because I'm going to show you that it's totally possible to create what I call your $1 billion baby. And imagine this. So you have this company that's worth $1 billion, and you built it completely with AI, and then AI agents run the whole thing. So it just makes you all this money, and there's no people except you. You own the whole thing. Now, it does sound crazy, but if you know what I know and you look forward a bit, I see that in a few years, there's going to be thousands, if not millions, of companies just like this. And you want to own one of those. So in this video, I'm going to share with you how I am doing that. I'm working on that. And then I'm going to give you 3 steps to follow in order to make this happen. And then at the very end, I'm going to share with you the number one thing that I use in my business using AI, the number one tool that I use. And it's kind of blew my mind when I set it up, and it's working incredible. So I'm going to show you that as well. So stick around to the end and I'll share that with you. All right. So how do you create a $1 billion business just using AI? So I like process. I think having a process is helpful. And I'm just going to give you 3 steps here, very simple steps, so you can get your head around this. So the first thing is just to set the goal that you'd like to have a $1 billion business that runs completely autonomously using AI. Now, you don't have to even know what the business is yet, okay? It's like, as a matter of fact, it's probably better just to start with no idea about that yet. It just say you're setting the goal to have this kind of business. Because what is interesting about human beings and our brains is that once we set a goal like that, our brain starts to click in and starts to think about, well, what would that be? Okay. So one of my clients, I was having one of our big idea sessions with them, and I gave him this idea of $1 billion baby. And he was sort of going, I don't know what that would be, And then on Saturday, just last Saturday, I got this text message from him at 10:30 at night. Okay, I'm just about to go to bed. And he says, I've got my $1 billion baby idea. It's amazing. It's going to be incredible. I got to talk to you right now. I said, no, I can't talk to you right now. I'm going to bed. But he was obviously very excited about it. And so I haven't heard yet from him. We're going to talk about it, but he's really excited because he set the goal and his brain started working on it. And now he's got the idea. Okay. So that's all you got to do is just say, that would be a cool thing to have, right? That's going to help you have a lot more money. You don't have to work very hard once you get this set up. And, it's going to be a lot of fun, right? The other bonus here of doing this is that you're going to learn a heck of a lot about AI by setting that goal. And that's what I found out myself was that once I set my goal for this, I started looking at AI a lot differently. I saw it saying, well, it's a tool now that to help me get this happening. So I started learning all about, for example, AI agents. I said, I need to know more and more about that and start setting those up. So I'm going to show you some of the AI agents I set up on the way to my $1 billion baby. Okay. So stick around for that. So we're going to set the goal. All right. So it's a pretty good goal. Now, I'm not telling you to give up your day job or anything. Okay. You're going to keep running your regular business here, but you're going to have this as the new factory idea. And you're going to maybe spend 10% of your time on this. Okay. Which, if it's going to end up with $1 billion, it's probably worth that 10% of your time. All right. Now, the second thing, which kind of obvious, but it actually isn't, is to actually partner with AI to build your $1 billion baby. Okay. Now, usually we think, okay, well, I'm going to use AI to run my existing business, make that more efficient, whatever. But the idea of actually partnering with an AI to build a business, well, we haven't talked about much about that, right? So what you're going to do is go to the AI and say, I want to create $1 billion business. Here's some of my ideas. What do you think? What are your ideas? What should that business look like? What would a business that was fully autonomous using AI look like? Like, what are some possibilities there? So you do some brainstorming with the AI to come up with that. Now you can certainly use other coaches and so on. This is, obviously why people hire us is because they want to consult with us on it. But you've also got this other tool now to do that. Okay, so we're going to use the AI as a partner to build this $1 billion business. And then the third thing is that we're going to set up AI agents to actually run the whole business. So those are like the employees ultimately that you're going to have. So there's going to be you, and there's going to be maybe 100, maybe even 1,000 agents that are running this whole business autonomously. And you've actually used AI to set up the agents as well, right? So you don't even have to know how to create an agent. You just have to know that they exist and that how you go about making them. So I'm going to show you how I've gone about doing that as well. Okay. So set the goal, use AI to build the business, like get it up and running, and then use AI agents to run the business. Okay. So once you understand that, it's actually straightforward, but this isn't how people are thinking, right? Most people are thinking, oh, I got a business idea. Okay. Oh, okay. It's going to be hard. Oh, I got to get a team of people around me, a whole bunch of humans to come together to help me with this. I got to raise all kinds of money. And then I probably have to work really hard and, and take all this risk, and then maybe it'll work out. That's old factory thinking. Okay. That's the past. That's all over. We're not doing that anymore. Okay. The whole world's changed. Believe me, it's all changed. And this is why I want you to get into this new world. This is what I'm helping you with here. Okay. So now the, how have I gone about doing this? Okay. So the, I want to share with you my screen. Here we go. And actually, let me do this way so you can see a little better. There you go. First thing that I did was I said, I'm going to set up a project on ChatGPT. So if you have ChatGPT, you might be familiar that you can set up projects now. So it's not just a prompt for a particular thing. You're saying this is a whole kind of project I'm working on. I want to keep everything in one place, build a knowledge base around that, and have this basically this AI agent in a sense helping you with that project, right? So what I've done is with the AI, I've just had all these conversations with them, and I've come up with this working name for this business. I call it Spitfire Match AI. I think ultimately it'd probably just be called Spitfire. And it has a personal angle because my father was a Spitfire pilot in World War II. So this kind of has meaning for me. But there's also this idea of it being, technology that was very important. And in a kind of way, it saved the free world, right? This plane. So I thought it was a really cool image and an idea there. Now, I'm not going to tell you what the idea is because that's still under construction. But there were a couple of things that I wanted to make sure that I was really onto. Okay. Was one, that this business had to be completely virtual, right? So it runs virtually, but it also, the value it's providing is intangible. So I didn't want to get into a business where I have lots of physical things that are being shipped, right? Like forget about tariffs, just the idea of it being physical didn't make it sound like it was going to be able to scale that quickly. So it has to be about knowledge, it has to be about networks, it has to be about insights that AI can create around knowledge and connecting people with that knowledge. So that's probably what most of these new kinds of companies are going to be. So more on that in other videos, but that was the kind of underlying principles of that. It's got to be selling something that's not a physical thing, but an intangible thing, right? And obviously it has to be extremely valuable, and it has to be something that only AI could really do, right? So those were the thoughts there. So anyway, so it's helping me get closer and closer to what the idea will be. And then I went over to Lindy. Now there are a number of places that you can build AI agents, but I found that Lindy is an excellent platform for this, primarily because you don't have to know how to make an agent. Okay, all you have to do is talk to the agent about what you want. Okay, so in ChatGPT, I'm saying, okay, this is what I figured out I want this whole business to do. And then I'm saying to the Lindy agent, I'm saying, please create agents that will do that. Okay. That's all I have to do is ask it to do that. Okay. So it starts building the agent. So I'll just show you the one down here that will give you some sense of this. Spitfire research agent. So that's the first one that I've created for this $1 billion baby. Okay. And it's very simple. It just says here, research on entrepreneurs and so on. So this is going to be about entrepreneurs. And the agent is very simple at this point, this particular one. As I just go in and chat and say, this is kind of entrepreneurs I'm looking for this. It goes on to LinkedIn, it looks for profiles, and then it creates a database of those entrepreneurs and makes a list of them. So this is part of how this is going to build up a knowledge base of all these entrepreneurs. Okay. So once again, I'm being a little cagey because I don't want to tell you the whole thing because it might change, but it is about gathering a lot of knowledge that's out there already and building a kind of a specialized knowledge base that the AI agents will use to run this business and create value for the customers of this business. Okay, so that's just one simple agent there. It's really fun to work with. I've created a number of agents to learn about this, and I'm using it for my existing business as well. So there's another video here on my channel that you can look at that will talk to you more about agents. Okay, so that's basically how it's going to get built. And the more that I work on this, the more possibilities I see. Okay, and so that's that's kind of the most amazing part of this whole thing is that the more you get into it, the more you realize how possible this is. Okay, so I feel that very a lot of clarity myself. So I'm really trying to somehow impart that to you, that this is all absolutely and totally doable. And it really starts making you wonder, why would I want to build another kind of business? Okay, if I'm trying to build a business for the future, why would I be like having a business have a building? You know, that would have all these people working in the building, that would have trucks that would move things around and stuff. Like, why would I build that business when I could build this kind of business? There's always going to be people that are going to have those kind of businesses, but that's not the future. Okay, that's buggy whips. You know, like this is like the cars and the airplanes of our time, right? So this is what I'm encouraging you to do. Now, there's this one tool that I've created, AI tool I've created, function, I guess, that is the ultimate thing that I've built so far with AI. And I want to share that with you now. Okay, so let me just share my screen here. There you go. And what I thought was, you know, I have a virtual business. So I used to have a big office with 30 people in it. Been there, done that. You know, and at this point, I just have a small office, but it's all virtual. I have about 100 people I work with, you know, different companies, and that's a cool thing. But basically, I'm on my own most of the time physically. So I thought, who am I going to chat it up with about my business, right? So I decided to create an AI advisory board for my company. And so this has been outrageously helpful. Okay. In my existing business, the Big Idea Company, where we do coaching on innovation, but also to create this $1 billion baby as well. So what I did was I said, I would like on my advisory board to be all these business thinkers that I really admire. I want them to be on my advisory board. So what I did was I had ChatGPT do deep research on a certain group of people that, like I say, I really admire. So one of them, Seth Godin. Okay. So I've read all his books. I'm kind of a little bit of a marketing guru, but he's my guru. Okay. And so what ChatGPT did was it did a deep dive on Seth Godin and wrote a 50-page report on everything he's ever said that was of use to anybody. A lot of good stuff in there, right? And then what I did was I took that PDF that I created from it and I uploaded that into the brain of this advisory board. And I did that with Simon Sinek. I did that with Gary Vaynerchuk. I did that with Ann Hadley, Chris Guillebeau, Neil Patel, and others. And I also put my own stuff up there because I figured, well, I might as well be on my own advisory board as well, right? So I put myself in there too. Okay, so then, what's the use of that? Well, what I can do is every day I can say, hey, I'm thinking of this, I'm thinking of that, I'm thinking of using LinkedIn, I'm thinking of using Google Docs, I'm thinking of using Lindy for agents or whatever, or I'm thinking that maybe I'll charge this much for this business, or I'm thinking of changing the market or whatever. And I just ask the advisory board to give me their advice on that idea or that strategy. And it comes back with all kinds of stuff. Now, some of it, it's like, whatever, could have thought of that. But there's some things that come up that I never thought of before that are incredibly helpful. So this is really cool. And it just gives me a sounding board, right? So I can be on my phone anywhere and I bring it up and I can actually talk to my advisory board. So it's not just with text, right? So I can actually be talking to the advisory board on my phone. So I'm suggesting that you set that up too. Okay, that you set that up for your business. So that's that's why I think I've got a lot to work with here in order to create my $1 billion baby, and it's going to be a journey. It's probably going to end up a lot different than I think. But because I've set the goal, I've got a direction, and I'm learning at a pace that I wasn't learning at before. So why don't you set that goal to have $1 billion baby? Now, there's a couple of things that we can do to help you with that. And one of them is you can be part of our network, okay? And that is the Future Business Network. Let me just pull that up. There you go. And so what that is a community of entrepreneurs that come together regularly to share with each other how they're using AI in their business, okay? And so we have the meetings every couple of weeks, and it's free. So we're all doing this as sort of a cooperative thing. And most of the things I've learned about AI, I've learned from those meetings, because people come and they share, okay, I'm using this type of AI to do this kind of thing. And I go, I never thought of that. I didn't know about that AI tool, and I didn't know that you could use it for that. And that gives me all kinds of other ideas. So we found that this is the quickest way to learn about AI. So all you got to do, there's a link below. Just click on it. There's a short little video, like 2 minutes, that explains the network and how it works and so on. And then if you want to sign up, it's free to sign up, and you just get invited to come to the meetings. And and you might learn something in the first meeting that might make all the difference. And it's just fun. It's just nice to meet all these folks and see what everybody's up to. So I suggest that that's a great way to work on your billion dollar baby, because that's what we're going to all do. Everyone in that group is going to have their project for their $1 billion baby. Okay. And only last thing I would say is, if you want to go for $1 trillion baby, go for it. Okay. Because in our world, what we want to always be doing is thinking big. Okay. So don't let anybody tell you, what are you doing at $1 billion, $1 trillion? That's just loser talk. Okay. Like this is what we can do as human beings. We can create something great. And you may say, I don't want $1 billion. Well, you can make the $1 billion and give it to a charity of your choice if you want. Okay. That's fine. I'm not suggesting you be greedy and say, oh my God, become a billionaire and all that. But you could create a lot of value in the world, and maybe you give all that money away to a charity or something. Or why don't you just keep a couple million for yourself? Anyway, okay, just for fun. Okay. Anyway, so I hope to see you in our community, the Big Idea Future Network. That'll probably be the next step for you. All right, and good luck with your $1 billion baby.